Hi everybody, this is Sherry. I wanted to come back on and say a thank you. Boy, I've never done this many face-to-face videos and the whole time I've been on YouTube. I wanted to thank you all very much for all the prayers and the kind comments regarding my last appointment with the cardiologist. A lot of you may know because Sybil posted and Johnny posted, and I'm not sure if Evie did. I know she posted on my Facebook. I had a heart attack Saturday, and I thought that was the scariest thing that had ever happened to me. And then things got worse on Sunday, and I was in pain on Saturday, real bad pain. And you know, a lot of you know I have my wheelchair. I'm in a wheelchair, and well, my daughter had our Suburban, which is what hauls my wheelchair around. And so my husband was like, I'll take you, we'll put the kids in the car. And I said no. I said there's no way to get my wheelchair there, and things could get worse just trying to get me back to the emergency room. So I don't know how I snookered him into it, but I snookered him into it, and I drove myself over in my wheelchair. We only live about 2 blocks from the hospital. Well, maybe 3 or 4 from the hospital. But I got myself there, and they took me back right away and started taking care of me. And you know, they gave me that pill they put under your tongue, which causes you to have a horrific headache. And so I started to feel better, and I was so thankful, because all I could think of was I didn't want to leave my kids, my husband. And so I thought that was the worst of it. I thought, well, this is the worst of it, this bad headache, and they've got me in here, and they're going to take care of me, and everything's going to be fine. Well, I woke up that next morning, on Sunday morning, and I had told my husband, he's a children's pastor, and I told him, I said, you go ahead and go to church. I said, really, I'm okay. And I kept, you know, kind of dozing, fading in and out, and I couldn't think straight, and I couldn't figure out, of course, what was wrong, because I just was completely out of it. And one of the nurses, well, actually 3 of the nurses come running in, and I heard an alarm go off, and it kind of brought me to for a second. And here they were coming to me. My blood pressure dropped down to 35/20. And they were administering medicine in my IV and tipping me back on my head to get as much blood flow to my brain as possible. And well, I know they were doing what they thought was best, and maybe it was best, but what they weren't aware of was that I have a brain tumor. So when they flipped me up, all the pressure built up around my brain, and oh my God, it hurt so bad. And I kept trying to get them to set me up, and the lady started yelling at me that I was dying and they were trying to save my life. And I couldn't get them to understand how much pain I was in from my brain tumor. And, you know, I mean, I ended up staying there on my upside down, tipped up onto my head anyways. I guess it really wouldn't have mattered if I could have explained it to him or not anyways. But I got this crazy idea in my head. I thought, if I can get my husband here, he'll make them set me up right. And I hope y'all like my hat. I bought it before I had my heart attack and never even got to wear it. And so I talked the nurse into calling my husband, And he leaves church and he comes straight over to the hospital, and our church was only about 5 minutes from the hospital. No, about 15 minutes from the hospital. And he got there, as quick as he could, about 15 minutes. And I kept telling him to make them set me upright, I'm hurting. And he said, I love you, and I don't want to lose you. And he said, you'll stay on your head as long as they tell you to. And I was so out of it and in pain. I looked at him and I remember saying, the next time I'm dying, I'm never calling you again. Probably the stupidest things I could have said, but I just wasn't. I just wanted the pain to stop. It hurt so bad. And so they rushed me by ambulance to another hospital. And they kept trying to get me to sleep, but I couldn't rest. And I was afraid. And I don't know why I was so afraid, because I knew there were so many prayers going up for me. And my son came up. He wanted to stay with me at the hospital, but they wouldn't let him stay in the intensive care unit. And so he was there from the minute they'd let him in the door till they kicked him out at night. My husband was there from the time he got off work until they made him leave. Same with my daughter. Mariah and Jesse came, but it scared them. So I didn't want my husband to bring them back. I would just talk to them on the phone. And it was a rough weekend, guys. A really rough weekend. But I guess I came on here to tell you all what was going on, and what had happened, and I have a long way to go. I have to go in for more tests, and there's a bunch of other things that are going to be happening with my heart and different stuff, but I mostly, besides to tell you all what happened, I wanted to thank you. Thank you for praying for me. Thank you, Johnny. She would only message me once a day, but she messaged me every day to make sure I was doing okay and to find out what was going on. And if I didn't feel like texting or typing, my kids took care of it for me. And they wanted to keep me until today, till Friday. But because I hadn't been able to sleep more than maybe 2 hours a night, and I think it was just my nerves, and whoever invented that air mattress bed needed to be drug out in the street and shot. It was the most uncomfortable thing. But every time that thing took my blood pressure, I was scared to death to look. I was afraid it was going to bottom out again. And what if there wasn't anybody there like there was the last time, like that one nurse was? But since I hadn't been able to sleep, they let me come home the other day. Yesterday. I don't even remember what day. And my son headed back down to home to be with his wife. And they had put me on so many blood thinners from the heart attack that when they took out my IV, it started bleeding and they couldn't get it stopped, and I lost a lot of blood. And then again, he wasn't going to let me go home because I lost so much blood. But he knew I wasn't going to rest there. I was up all night. I'd maybe fall asleep for 2 hours, and that was sporadic. It was broken up. And so they were getting more worried about the fact that I was so exhausted, physically exhausted from the lack of sleep, that they were worried that it would make my health worse. And so even though I lost the blood and had the heart attack and then had my blood pressure bottom out, he went ahead and let me go home. And I came home. I hugged both my kids that were here at that time, which were Zach and Danae. I told them how much I love them, how much I never want to leave them. And I said, I just want to rest an hour and then I'm going to get up because I want to sit here and talk with you. I hadn't seen my son since Thanksgiving. So he said, okay, Mom. I said, now, one of you set the alarm. Set your alarm on your phone so I get up in an hour. Neither one of them did. They let me sleep. I slept for about 3 hours. And I woke up and they were both just sitting there watching me sleep. And I have no idea why God has blessed me with such an amazing family. I'm just so thankful. Thankful for all the prayers. I could not have gotten through this without all those prayers. And I love you all. And I appreciate everything that you have done for me. And I'm so glad to be back home. And I'd like to thank Sybil again and Johnny for getting the videos out so that people would pray. I just really, really appreciate it. And I'm supposed to be resting, and I have been. I've been trying, and I'm actually doing some coloring, and I've got some videos that I had ready to put up and didn't get put up before everything went chaotic. And I'll try to get those up for you all in the next couple of days. They weren't much. They were just some teacher appreciation, which I was in the hospital and missed. And so I will be getting, hopefully next week, my doctor will release me from house arrest. And I'll be able to go to Mariah and Jesse's school and at least, do something special for their teachers, as long as I promise to take it easy. So, thank you all again. I love yins. I don't know what I'd do without you. Sometimes yins are the only contact I have because my family's so far away. And you guys are as much family to me as they are, because sometimes I hear from you more than I do them. Thank you. You guys have a great evening. God bless. Bye.